see, where are you soon? Got it. Okay. Hey to everybody who may come in or may watch this later. Much love to you all. As and when you do see this. So I'm just getting some things up on here because let's celebrate the Jubilee, right? Right? Should we celebrate the Jubilee? Maybe we should be celebrating a Jubilee, but not in the way that it's being depicted as we should be. So let me get this up and then I can share the screen as and when I want to. So yeah, it's Jubilee and the country is celebrating. Many people are not celebrating the Jubilee on behalf of the Queen's reign, thank goodness. And many people are. Many people still are. Many people still believe in being ruled over by usurpers that at some point in history usurped a throne and then decided that they should reign over you. And they do gladly reign over you regularly. They and they get you to hemorrhage in taxes and the likes for the privilege of doing so. They really do bring a whole new meaning to the golden shower. So it's interesting that some people still you know, go along with that, and not for me. Anybody who knows me knows that there is nothing that could get me to celebrate the reign of this queen or any other monarch today, because they shouldn't be in situ. If they would insist on being in situ, then they should very much be what they say they are to be, which is they say they are to be for the people, to look after their people, to be a part of their people and their lives and the journey, and to mix and meld and work as a team. That is not what happens. And you know, we've had so much come out regarding the Queen and the family that are around her, Jimmy Savile, Prince Andrew, Prince Charles, herself and her late husband. That really, I can't describe it as anything other than a spell. Hey Marie, much love to you too, ma'am. I can't see the reign of this family, of this royalty, being anything other than a very, very great spell that over the years, with the various seals and symbols and rituals, has only grown. And so no, I don't celebrate today because of the fact that the Queen is I hope you're well, Marie, because of the fact that I think the Queen deserves any celebration. But what I do want to bring to light is that these people have been exposed, and there is so much controlled opposition out there within the truther community even, that works really well at making a big fuss about all this truth coming out. Look, they're finally getting exposed. Jimmy Savile was exposed years ago. He was exposed by some brave victims coming forward. The systems controlled it to the point where if they'd not allowed any information out, if they'd not allowed him to do any sort of real risque interviews, then it would have created anger. That the pot would have been allowed to boil and boil over. But they do this controlled drip feeding within truther communities, as in controlled opposition, that then share meme after meme after meme after meme, make it sound really loud, like that's it, we don't need to do anything as a society collectively because there's so much noise here, something is getting done, look. And that is exactly what they want, because then the boil can just simmer back down into a nice simmer, and the victims are well and truly scorched, bereft of all justice, bereft of all recognition, compassion, and love. And they've done the same thing with any Prince Charles, with Diana. They've done the same thing with the Queen and her late husband and their trip to Canada, where they went on a certain picnic with a certain number of children, and only a certain number of children came back. Not just once. They've done the same thing with Andrew. I don't sweat anymore. Oops, now I can't sweat again. Andrew. They've done the same with him. So again, there's all this furore, and they deliberately, because they know truths are coming out, they deliberately put out a mass amount of memes of controlled oppositions within truther communities that'll share those memes until you're like all memed out. And you're literally all memed out. They've literally they've double played on the chessboard. They've won a round, because then again there is that debilitating feeling for those truthers that aren't being fooled that way. There's that washed up feeling for any victims that have been brave enough to put themselves forward in any way, shape, or form. There's that tiredness, because it took so much energy to accrue enough evidence and accrue enough years to listen and eyes to see, that it's difficult to go again after taking a lose. It's really difficult. And so when they bring around these holidays, like this Jubilee holiday that's going on in this country right now, there's a feeling in the country of, we need something good to celebrate. So let's celebrate. Let's all be together. Top of the morning to you from Alberta. Much love to you from the UK. And so, yeah, there's a tiredness, there's a sensation of, just let's celebrate, just let's get into the spirit of things, because, and it gives people that emotional recharge, that time with family, a feeling of togetherness, because there's a celebration, a mass celebration. And we all know mass celebrations, mass singing, taking mass at church, singing within a church, it creates a one frequency that makes us feel in love, makes us feel not so alone, makes us feel elated. But it's a cheap shot that they give the country 4 days off on this Jubilee. And it's all about the symbolism. It's all about, we are going to rape and pillage you, even of the rights that we have hijacked and taken on board as our own. And we're going to give you a cheap version of it. And so we say, hey, Keith, love you too, talking about this bloody royal family. So yeah, I'm going to share the screen, and 1 second, I'll get the right thing up before I do. And share the screen. And let's put on in the background, without any sound, some streaming from, oh no, I can't do that, hold on. Some streaming from the UK, from Talk Radio, to see all of the pomp and celebration that is going on right now. So this is where we are at right now with what's going on right now. And you look at the decadence of this. I mean, is it not ridiculous that there are children within the UK on below the poverty line? And this is what is going on. It's going on the back of also of taxes coming out of people's yin-yangs, because the government are deciding to charge the citizens for the privilege of them backhanding their cronies throughout the last 2 years, contracts for PPE, etc., that have been nothing more than one big Chinese laundrette system, you know, washing that money. So this is where we see that this is the country that is stricken with debt, that the citizens must absolutely put themselves even further below the poverty line in order to help be a collective and pull yourself up by your shoestrings and, you know, pay those taxes, because we're all look, this country's just poverty stricken. I don't know how much these uniforms alone would go towards feeding people that need to be feeding, housing people that need to be housed, looking after the very veterans who have to say, you know, that God save the Queen, and they're going to stand in the way to do that first in the name of the God. All of that and more. So you can see here, it's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous when you think about it logically. But these people are under an absolute spell. And that spell gets more and more wearing and fixed as generations go on. And so people are just relieved to believe in something, to celebrate something, to be a part of something. So, and look, the golden phoenix rising up from the ashes. That's a symbology there for good and bad. Again, they use our symbols, they take ours and their symbols, just they put different intent behind it. So you see here, this is all of these uniforms, all of these emblems, all of this stitching, all of it being a sigil that makes up one big sigil. And what's happening today is there is another seal being melted, the wax being melted, and the stamper stamping upon that to fix something, fix many things coming up into the fore. So these are the streets of the UK at the minute. And, you know, you go outside and a couple of streets down from me, there's people, you know, with their flags out and wanting to celebrate, and I understand it totally. We're going to be celebrating. We're going to be celebrating in a different way as a family. And I'll tell you how soon, over this long weekend. So the reason that they've given us a long weekend will become clear as and when. It's a terrible picture. But there she is, poor old lady, right? Innocent old lady, standing there alone on the balcony, you know, just with one accompanying person, saluting on her behalf. Poor thing, eh? my heart does weep. And of course, it's difficult. Like, it's difficult for me seeing some people that are very young, you know, and you can see that they've been taken in, or they've had some attachments, they've, you know, gone down the wrong road. But there's a level of evil there. You sort of have to get past the physical cocoon that this spirit is in. And the same with this old lady standing here. And here's all of her family coming out, I think minus Markle and Harry. Interesting how I said Markle and Harry, like female senior oppressor, male subordinate. Not a great shot, talk radio, the lamppost in the way. So there they are on the balcony. Aren't we so grateful? Aren't we so happy? Ooh, not. As it fades off into a contented whisper, because these are the very people that are trying to seal the fates of the many for another 70 years. You'll notice the correlations of 70 years ago, precisely, people were having to have food ration books. People were having to worry about food and having to worry about how they were going to feed their children. Jobs were drying up, and we'll probably see a lot more military jobs opening up in new technological directions in the next year or two. But they're doing a repeat spell right now. They're doing a looping spell, and they are sealing it with a 4-day weekend. Whoa, a 5-day weekend, is it? So here they all are on the balcony anyway. I don't know how much more anybody wants to see of that. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. So yeah, it's lots of purple. You'll notice as well, there's a lot of stuff I want to look at that, like the purple sun, Saturnalia, all of that kind of thing. The hidden, the unseen. Let me find this one for you now. Just green. So why do I say they're taking a cheap shot and giving us a cheap version, and something we should just be oh so grateful of, a cheap version of a Jubilee? So I'm looking up the meaning of Jubilee, and it says the meaning is flow maker, liquidation. So you'll probably find, and I'll pull some cards at the end of this, but you'll probably find over the next 5 years, we're going to see that transition that I was talking about a long time ago of the transition of the money, and see the full extent of the certain liquidations of ways things were done on the financial scope, the way that banking is done, certain liquidations of banks, even certain banks, the flow maker. So, you know, the one that makes the flow in a different direction, or directional flow, the one that decides upon the flow and which way it goes. And so it says etymology from the verb that 72, no, not 72, my eyesight, from the verb yabal, to carry along in a flow. So you can see today that absolutely they are carrying many people along in a flow, in a direction. Look this way, look this way. Look at the pomp and ceremony. Look at how much more power we have. Look at how much more money we have. Look at, you need us, you need us. You just look this way while other things are going on in the background. Look this way while we just hurry up and get this magic seal done. Hurry up while we get it into the consciousness of the many, that aren't suspecting it. Hurry up while we get the consent of the many that aren't reading the magical contract. And so it goes back to Yabal, Abel, Beth, Makeh, Abel, Keriman, Abel, Maim, Abel, Meloah, Abel, Mizraim, Abel, Shittim. So it goes on, Jabal, Jubal, Obal, Tubal, Cain, Zerubbabel. I'll have to look into that more because those names pique my interest. The old Cain and Abel story being probably much more the other way around, i.e. which one was bad, which one was good. So we go into Jubilee. The name Jubilee in the Bible, which is the very thing they say, the royal family says they stand upon, that they are the middle person for God, that she is the anointed sovereign and the middle being to God. So we'll take it that when they say Jubilee, they're taking it from Hebrewic terminology and meaning. And so Jubilee, or more complete, the year of Jubilee, or simply Jubilee, as for instance in Leviticus 25. Marked every 50th, brackets, or 49th, depending on how one counted, year of the calendar. The prophet Ezekiel speaks of a year of liberty, which is probably the same thing. Since every 7th year was a Sabbath year, every 7th Sabbath year would become a super Sabbath year, or Jubilee. Not only were fields not supposed to be worked, but left fallow. All leases would finalize and ownership would revert back to the original owner, which, in the case of a slave, would be the person, him or herself. So basically you get ownership of yourself again. The Jubilee principle had several functions. It assured that the commercial cycle would not overpower people, as it does today. All major transactions of lives and lands reverted every 50 years, and no one could build up a debt he could never get out of. Secondly, and probably similarly, fields were left fallow and would regain their fertility, which we know something. Not only have the pesticides ruined the soil, we know that this should be a natural field management thing, and always was, to rest fields, work another, rest field. We do that with horses. But thirdly, and judging from the meaning of the name Jubilee, most importantly, people who were to refrain from working, the field for a whole year were given the opportunity to enjoy life. Since quite a large number of humans are creative in some form or another, Sabbath years and years of Jubilee were most likely times of increased production of literature and other arts, and quite possibly also of technological and scientific innovations. Doubtlessly, extended periods of relaxation also strengthened family bonds and would logically also facilitate baby booms. So we've had the cheapest of cheap shots for a long time, but the last 2 years where family bonds were stripped away at, people were told not to work but not paid, or if they weren't working, now they've got to pay double back, or they've got to pay it back quick while all other costs go up too. Taxation for that last 2 years is hitting the British people hugely. So there's that cheap shot, but they are celebrating a Jubilee. in light of what they know they've built their calendar systems on and the crown belief system upon. They built that on the Bible, and they are saying you have a 5-day holiday. You have 5 days where you've been so worn down over the last 2 years that most people are just going to go up and have a piss up in a brewery, get really, really drunk so that they're not taking any notice of the incantations that are going on around them with all of these sigils, with all of this pomp and ceremony, in order so that we can seal the next 70 years in a flow, in a direction that we want it to go in. This would mean that if we were to be doing our research truly, if we were to be not usurped by controlled opposition within the truther movement, we would have been shouting the loudest at this Jubilee to say, yes, let's celebrate Jubilee. Let's rip up these contracts that you hold us to. Let's revise you sitting in that throne. Let's get into some, family bonding. Let's get into some strong familial bonds being created. So they are taking away, in their terminology, which is stolen from more ancient stories, in their stories, they are stripping away, using their stories to hold us down in a box, in a place, but then they are also stripping us of the benefits that that box itself says we should be having. And so, yeah, let's celebrate a Jubilee, but let's look at what is really happening over the next 5 days as they do all of these ceremonies and rituals and, sealing of the next 70 years. So this is where slaves should really be celebrating and making a noise and saying, yeah, it's time to get out of captivation. It's time for us to release ourselves from this bind, from this bond that you've put over us and created systems that hold us in place. So I'm back into the chat now. Sorry, I couldn't see the chat while I was sharing. So, yeah, I haven't even put the right title on this, have I? I've just thought of that. But yeah, let's not celebrate these people, these beings that they're parading before you. Let's not clap for their reign, for their sovereign state between you and Source, or between you and God, as they say. Let's not celebrate something that they've given us no clear indication of what exact spells and sigils they're using to seal our fate. Let's not celebrate any of that, but let's claim, in their words, Jubilee. Let's tear up those contracts. Let's revise people and places of power. Let's really look at what is going on here. So that's my 2 penneth about what is happening right now. They are the worst kind of pirates, stealing from the essence of the people they say that they serve. They are the worst kinds of slave owners, because to me it's far worse being a slave and not realizing just how much of a slave you are, and to take the breadcrumbs of a 5-day weekend and celebration because you don't realize how much of a slave you are, then if you are a slave and can at least have more of your own knowing, more of your self-knowing, more of your self-identity, and know how much of a slave you are, at least you keep a little bit more of self then. So what's happening in the UK? You raise the roof today and over the next 5 days. If you're any kind of psychic, intuitive, empath, wizard, warlock, witch, person who can see truther, celebrate, but do your rituals, write down the contract you felt held to under this sovereign reign, and do something, rip it up. Create yourself a vision board of how you have felt captured and deprived under the reign of these beings, and burn it. You know, do something to bring focus and intent into your consciousness in order to do your part to counteract the spell work that is going on over the next 5 days, because it ain't good. It ain't good. Totally. Here in America and around the world, we should sure denounce all and any monarch, for sure, for sure. Thank you, like thanks, James. I know who that is. I've just figured it out. In the early 1900s, these Crown Privy Council members decided to take over by corporate leaders in the Pilgrim Society membership to write. Monsanto came out of that membership, but Monsanto did, and so did a lot of cancer, as far as I can remember. We're all debt slaves. Well, we are, until we say, what debt? What tax do you want us to pay back? What debt? Show me the physical billions. I want to see it. I want to see it scattered from here to Land's End. I want to see it scattered. I want to see it. I want to walk on it. I want to touch it, feel it, know it to be real, know it to be true, you know, even if it's pieces of paper from all of these different countries to all of these different people that we collectively owe debt to. Let me see it. Let me see it. Because right now, there are lots of people who could say, what a kind of intuitive, well, I can't see what you see. I can't see. Yeah, you might have healed me, or yeah, you might have helped me heal, or yeah, you might have told me things I didn't tell anyone else. But, you know, I still need to see it. And fair enough. And I'll say, I can't show you. And if they say, well, then it doesn't exist to me, then fine, okay, it doesn't exist to you. I won't argue with that. But if you want me to enter into a two-way thing, I want to hold them to that, because they want to take something physical from me, whether it's physical food out of my baby's mouths. They want to take this, but they keep just taking in the invisible. But many people tell me the invisible doesn't exist. So, and I know that not to be true. But you see what I'm saying? Contradictory. The Griffins have been fighting Monsanto since its inception in 1910. Well, I'd have to learn more about that. Anne Marie Shaw on Facebook. Hey, Anne. Never liked the royal family and knew they were rotten to the core. This is very interesting to know about the spell. The whole crown system is built on intricate spell work, intricate spell work. And they've done that on the back of the Bible. And if you look at it, Anne-Marie, it's really interesting. They just keep repeating the history loop. I don't know if you were on when I was sharing the screen with all of the ceremony, but I was saying that if you go back 70 years, ration books were coming out, food shortages, people worried about food and jobs, and just repeat it again and again and again. So yeah, the money allocation is a sickness of the pure narcissistic, sociopathic, and psychological disorders. Truly is. A narcissistic, sociopathic, psychologically damaging people are very good at making their victims believe them until all of a sudden they're not. Anybody who's been through a narcissistic experience of abuse, if they've survived it, then they've had an awakening. They've had a level of awakening that all of a sudden, all those spells that worked on you, all of that word play and that conditioning that worked on you, all of a sudden it doesn't. And it's hard to look back and think, how did that work? How did I stay that long? And so there is this, but it takes quite a lot to release yourself from that spell. And these beings have set up systems to detect when people are waking themselves up from that spell. And they don't really fight against us too much, especially not anymore. They infiltrate. That's happening so much in the UK. Hey, Eye of the Maelstrom, much love to you, John. I'm going to have to shoot off. We'll catch the rest of this on the replay. Thank you, John. Thank you. Beloved Abstract. You want me to show you what love is. But then, beloved, I would have to find a way to show you every single day and probably have to break that up hourly to even begin to attempt. And it would be a never-ending attempt because love seems the most moldable emotion to me. It seems the most ineffable emotion to me, because you can find love in the strangest of times, the strangest of people, the strangest of places, the most beautiful and the most ugly of animals. You know how sometimes they border into that. They look so bad, they look cute. So that I would endeavor to, but I would find it difficult. Hola, T. Hola, hola. So yeah, just sharing about what's going on with the royal family today. And it's not what it seems. It's annoying as fuck that they keep getting away with it. It's really not good. And it's really, Nell, hi. Much love to you on Facebook there. Nell, clarify it a bit more, like personality attributes, or how well you'll work together. Is the narcissism, hey Jules, I hope you're doing well and sending you so much love and healing. Is the narcissism a sickness or more part of a spell or a curse, maybe? I swing with that one in that I think it feels like an initial seeding, Jules, for me. That it came in with a whole different strand of DNA being added up in this space. And then, you know, I think then it's also then becomes a bit of a sickness in that kids are made to grow up generationally, maybe with that strand of DNA being very diluted, and then not so much of a problem, but then conditionally being brought up with a narcissist, you learn those habits and traits, or you become the perpetual victim, which then breeds the narcissism more, doesn't it? Because the narcissist loves a victim, especially a light worker or somebody who is coming with a higher frequency. So I think it's both. Oh, it is. Jeannie said both. Oh, T says, word on the street, Prince Andrew has tested positive for COVID. Terrible shame, as he has no way of sweating it out of his system. Funny. That's funny though, too. That's right, isn't it, beloved? Tested positive for a fake one. Oh no, oh my. Whatever shall we do? So we've got the Queen of Cups, the Seven of Wands. Attention to me, attention to me. You know, the Queen of Cups, you know, please put your emotions, flow them this way, look this way, not that way, not that way. And so creating this distraction. Okay. When messages are coming in thick and fast, for people to listen, to hear, to see, the Tower comes out in reverse, and the Tower would speak to people just so terrified to avoid the bubbles they've been conditioned to believe in. 6, 7, 8, 8 of Cups in reverse. So we're not leaving this merry-go-round for quite some time. It's going to take a hell of a lot more to get out of it. 8 of Wands. There is so much happening in spirit today, in the hidden, in the unseen, dimension, interdimensionally, that with this 8 of Wands, while everybody's looking this way, in the purple, in the hidden, so much is happening to put the people into another seal, another 70-year seal. Now, that's not to say that that seal cannot be broken, but why give them a chance to get more power in the meantime, right? So what about the purple? What about the purple? Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing some going to be very dark rituals going on. Sacrificial rituals going on to really seal this level of magic. This is the initiator in reverse. In the upright, sorry, you can see it there. There's the two on the knees ready for their initiation, but in reverse, it's not such a pleasant initiation. It's the ones getting involved aren't the ones getting initiated. They're just being utilized. So we've got, for the purple, we've got the Page of Wands in reverse, in the upright, sorry. So this is about the children. It's very much about the children going into something else regarding the DNA of the children. You can see here the Page of Wands, you know, it goes with the flow. It goes with the energetic flow, and you know, is very sort of happy to go with the flow, but can be distracted. There's a snake here on the ground, poised, ready, and it's I don't know why I've just heard riding a dragon. So we've got the Magician in the reverse, and you can see here all of the tools on the table, all of these age-old rituals and magic. It's like the levels of like John Dee and stuff going on here, with the behind the scenes of what is being solidified in the public eye, and the consent of that public that are clapping and cheering. They're giving consent and power to this level of spell work. It's like, fuck. So it's in reverse. This is a more malevolent type of initiation ritual, moon in reverse. They're just harnessing all of this energy that they can from those people that are memeing about them on one hand, and shouting about them in a way to silence lots on this truther side, and also people out there actually cheering and watching the pomp and ceremony. All of that energy being fed into you consent, because you know, royalty's always had its opposers, hasn't it? It's always had its needs that opposition in order for enough noise to be made in the for camp, for them to feel sovereign and solidified in their sovereign state. And so, yeah, this involves the children, DNA of the children. You're probably going to find a real kickstart again in encouraging children to be taken for medical procedures. Again, here after this, also a lot more to happen on the conditioning children to believe they're transgender, to believe that they are, yes, your body might tell you this, but because we're telling you this is what the reason you look at your body and think you are, then you're not. You know, that all of this double talk to kids to condition them into that, the change in the structure of society, changing the type of being. So yeah, don't clap for them. Don't shout for them to be brought down either. Just do what you can energetically today and over the next 5 days to contractually not consent to this harnessing of power that is going on. Yak, yak, yak. Don't like it. I don't like it. It's our mafia. We need to get all mafia up in here. That's true, Jeannie. Diana's mother was Jewish, and so was William's wife's mother. Their children are Jewish. And they hide in victimhood, don't they? They create the victims of their own people with the Second World War, and now they still hide in victimhood today. You're terrified to say anything. Hey, monkey experiment. Because if you say anything, then you're victim blaming your. It's like, no, actually, we're for the real victims of their real people that they persecuted so that they could usurp a crown. And you know, there's the German link also with her late husband. I mean, he's German. He's absolutely German. They are a German family. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. John Prine. Is that a song? Yeah. T, you're on fire today, T. T, we should make a play about the royals. It could be titled Princes and Pedo Flies. It's just for YouTube because I'm not even sure what words you can use now and what words you can't. T is on fire today. T gets the medal for T gets the medal for being the funniest today. Someone's not knocking at the door. It's next door knocking something in or out. Knocking a nail in or something. It's gone off now. So yeah, let's celebrate. And you've got, they do it so well, don't they? Because then you've always got to be like party pooper and it's like, no, I'm the fire starter and just party this way instead of that way, you know? So yeah, let's have a look and see people are celebrating in the streets that are usually deadly quiet. They don't want to get together when, you know, people are in need, when people are lonely, when people are dying of loneliness. No, you barely say hello to one another then, you know. But because this queen, who in the name of you get taxed out the yin yang for, is having this celebration, and let's have a piss up. So stupid. Hold on, zoom again. Let's share screen again just before I go. So yeah, lots of purple. There's the golden phoenix. And until people really look into that, because there's so many people that will say, there's so many people that will say in the truther community that'll say, you know, like, the Bible tells us these are biblical times, guys, biblical times. We've won already. And it's like, that's how you really get people to get up and go, isn't it? By telling them that they've already won. They don't even have to try. It's written in the Bible. The same Bible that they keep trotting out to create the same history loops that keep us under the same mind control, that keep us in the same boxes. But then they'll go on about lizard people and the royal family and the fact that they're lizards and they're evil and they're this and they're that. And it's like, but you do realize the crown system is built on the biblical system where they say they stand in for God. And you do realize that they're sort of supported by and appointed by the churches. You do realize that the same Bible that you're quoting from to say that we've already won is the same Bible that they ask you to swear on in the court system. It is the same Bible that they read from at any ceremony that is to do with the royals. It is the same Bible that has then, that she is said to be not in the Bible, but uses the Bible to swear herself into, to oath herself to be this middle person between this God that you're saying has sent you, but that same God is depicted in this Bible, this same Bible that these whole systems of organized religious churches sit upon, that then they'll say, oh, they're the pedos, you know, and all of that. But we've already won. It's biblical times. Like, it's been biblical times time and time again, because they keep making it biblical times, because they've got a certain amount, a certain percentage of people believing in an ending to the story, a ending that they can buy into like a child to the story, to continue that story, to literally be the never-ending story. And they do it the same the world over. Wherever there's organized religion, there is the never-ending story, and there is the battle, and there is the already winning, and there is the self-sacrifice in God's name, in Allah's name. It's so what I'm saying is the spells are multifaceted, same energetic imprint, but they are so strong, and the cognitive dissonance is strong amongst these people, and it's baffling. Sometimes you think, what did I engage myself with when I came up in this space? I do. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to people, and I'm going to let you all go. Original Stormtrooper, we've got to save ourselves. No one is coming to save us. No one is coming to save us now. No one. You're right, Original Stormtrooper. Machina Mundi, hey to you. Hi, Jenny. I was 7, 1961, standing in the rain and wind with hundreds of kids awaiting the Queen to pass. When she did pass, she didn't look at our side of the road. So I decided I would never be into the royals. Well, that was your Jubilee in of itself. And you've been saved from so much, Machina. The Kabbalion is better than all of the religious books put together. I know you do, Jeannie. I like the Sophianic myth. It's an alternative creation story. But we have got the power to save ourselves. Totally, Stormtrooper. Completely. And that can be a bit frustrating to know that, and you see that people can't, you just got to let it go. Jim Crowley, much love to you on Facebook there. Reminds you of the Beatles song. So yeah, Scratch always coming in at the end, my love. How are you? I hope you're well. Whew. That's my take on the Jubilee and what the Jubilee really is. If you missed the start of the video, go back and have a look. Jubilee should be being able to rest the fields, being able to rip up enslavement contracts, being able to really truly claim your sovereignty, that even slaves in the Sabbath years, particularly a super Sabbath Jubilee, which is what this Queen's Jubilee is this weekend, then, you know, slaves were allowed to be, or given their sovereignty back. People were allowed to enjoy rest, where creative thinking and productivity can increase, where people can be inspired, and not just by laborious work, but, you know, artwork. That's what this Jubilee really should be. And if you're out there clapping, or if you're out there memeing, then they're literally giving you a very cheap, energetic date on a highway to another 70 years of tyranny. You have a great day too, Monkey Experiment. Typical, says Scratch. Typical. I'm good, Scratch. I am. Yeah, I'm good. So you're all right. Oh, look, there's a tarot reader on here. Go on then, tarot reader. Give me a reading. So honestly, talk about energy hitchhikers. Okay. Tyrannical. That just covers it. Yosele, much love to you. But beloved abstract, that is how you manage to create art that other people wouldn't be able to see. You see shapes and spaces and things where shapes and spaces aren't apparent to others. Thank you. Robert Babonos. Oh, the music sounds great. I've hardly been on Facebook. I'm really finding it difficult to go on there. I know I've got to for business, but that metaverse, the energy. Oh, thank you, Robert. Yeah, definitely. We'll chat. Anyway, much love, balance, and wholeness. Mwah. Appreciate you all. Do not clap for that purple rain. Quite literally, if you've got to do anything, blast a bit of purple rain up in your own space, because it's the power in the hidden, the power in the unseen, in your intent and focus. T, you know what? Ayahuasca, I'd love to. It's a little bit difficult to get here. But yeah, I would love to. Guided people in other things. But ayahuasca, I know I'm ready. But the plant will come to me when it's the right time. Shanti. Shat Chit Ananda. Abundant favor and joy and gratitude and appreciation. And to you, mwah, all of you. T, we'll hook up on that conversation when I'm next on. Much